welcome back, and welcome back. My name is Rick, and these are the Dreadful Minutes. So this is going to be, yeah, you guessed it, another contest entry video. This video will be in support of John, or Johnny Mac, whatever you want to call him. He has a channel called Rock and Metal Plus, and he shows generally a lot of collection updates, and he's into a lot of the stuff that a lot of us talk about in the metal VC community, although he's into a lot of other things too, general rock and other such things, which, you know, as music fanatics, you know, we all engage and enjoy. So he has reached 250 subscribers, which is the reason for this contest. As usual, I'm late in the game, and I have seen what other people have been showing, and there's been a generous amount of submissions. So, John, people like you, man. So, people have been entering. Just checked your sub count before hitting the record button, and you were at 315. So 350 subs is pretty good considering less than a month ago. You know, you were at 250. So quite an accomplishment. And he's been pumping out videos since that contest video. And he's been just consistently just putting out material and showing us a collection updates and some cool stuff that you know, you all might want to see and might be interested in that he talks about. So anyway, so John wants us to show our box sets. So I'm limiting it to just stuff that comes in cardboard. I know, you know, you get other sets in clamshell cases and stuff like that. I got plenty of that kind of stuff. I don't have a whole lot of box sets, like what you guys have shown in the, you know, in the VC. You guys have some really cool stuff. So let me show you a little bit about what I have here. He did not limit it to just music. You can show your movies or whatever else. I actually have a book set here, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But let's just get started and show you what I got. So a lot of you, if you've been watching my channel or just my live streams, you know I'm a very visually centered kind of person, very artistically minded, and I tend to focus a lot on artwork and covers and, you know, just the visual aspects of a lot of the music that we talk about. So in this case, I'm talking about a book. This is a book I used to check out at the library as a kid. And you know, like when you know you're a little too young for something, and you're like, I shouldn't be looking at this, should I? This is something that it was a little, maybe a little too taboo, a little out there. There was a set called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And so I got this 3-book collection right here. It was done by a fella called Alvin Schwartz, was the author behind these short stories. So here's the back. And right away, the illustrations will look very familiar to a lot of you. Maybe hit you with a bit of nostalgia with that pen and ink kind of artwork. It was very gruesome, quite morbid. And so there was 3 books. The first one came out in the early 80s, mid 80s, and then 90 or 91 was the last one. And we have, so it was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And it was more Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And then we had Scary Stories 3 to Tell in the Dark. So the 2 you notice are like the hologram kind of edition. The first one was like that too, but it was misplaced. So I had to order a copy, but they didn't sell it like this individually. I had to get it as a set. And I wasn't going to buy 2 sets. So, but this one fit just fine in the box. So screw it. I'm just going to include it as part of that. But if you're looking for something for the kiddos, nice quick short stories, but just scary enough, not too tame. These actually are pretty fun in a lot of ways. This will seem familiar to especially the younger lot of you, because it had a movie adaptation not too long ago based on these short stories. So I think that some of these illustrations are all excellent. And this has had a reissue back in the, I want to say 2011, 2012, something like that. And man, some of this stuff is so gruesome. Again, this was stuff that was aimed at preteens, you know? And as a preteen myself, back in the 80s, looking at this stuff, it was just very gory, very gross, and just quite scary at the time for me. I mean, look at this, you know? And like I was saying, back in 2011, 2012, this got reissued with all new artwork. I think the guy behind those illustrations was the guy behind the series of unfortunate event books. Lemony Snickets and that kind of stuff. And there's a huge backlash about that. And people wanted their original artwork back, and rightly so. Again, aimed at children. And it's just the artwork was just done so well. Stuff was so graphic, and it was meant to scare you, right? So it did its job. And I'm just a sucker for a lot of this pen and ink kind of stuff. And so Stephen Gammell, I'm not sure how you say it. Look at that. Did such an excellent job on this that he worked on all 3 books, and which is great for keeping that consistency throughout. And I just love it. Anything like this draws me in. And this is what introduced me to the macabre and the dark side of things, and eventually into metal. You have albums like this, like the Sark, what are Nocturnal Cultos, projects, like this kind of thing. It's just so appealing. And I'm just a sucker for this stuff. But look at that fidelity. Look at this. It's just awesome. So if you guys are looking for anything like this for the kids, like I was saying, just great short stories. They're all twisted and unique in their own way. So I'll stop gushing about it and move on to music. So first up, I got the Budgie MCA albums, 1973 through 1975. So collects 3 albums. Never Turn Your Back on a Friend, In for the Kill, Bandolier, right here. And as a lot of you know, Burke Shelley passed away January of 2022. Rest in peace. Contributed a lot to the early just heavy music. I mean, back in the 70s, this was some of the heaviest stuff you could listen to at the time. I mean, this such classic artwork. And of course, they used Roger Dean for some of the visuals. This says here it's the MCA albums. There's 3 here, but there was 2 other albums before this, and which were also on MCA. So I'm not sure why they're not included in this set. I mean, these 3 are just very enjoyable, but I just found it perplexing why they weren't included. Maybe there was something with the licensing, the way it was contracted out. But what's cool is they kept sort of the mini LP look with everything, so with the nice gatefold. I love it when labels do a bit of this kind of treatment, which is pretty awesome. So there he is right there. So this is a band from Wales, I believe, and it was very I don't know if they got their respect and due as they should have. I mean, I wasn't around in the 70s. Maybe they were at the time, but this is not a name I hear brought up a whole lot. But if you go back and listen to some of this material, man, I think they were up there, man, with a lot of the heavy greats, man. You could put them next to Deep Purple and, Blue Oyster and those guys, It's, some really cool jamming riffs. So, yeah, so that's Budgie. Can't forget about Dio. So this is the 5 classic albums series. I know a lot of you have been showing the what you call the collected 5 album sleeve kind of stuff. I got one for Rad. I got a few out there, so I'm not gonna. This will be a very long video if I pull all of those. I just happen to really like Dio, as a lot of you know. So another one here. So these are not gatefolds like this, like the Budgie ones, but just very convenient. I have these on vinyl too, but it's always nice to have the CDs and packaged like this all in one place. So Last in Line, of course. Sacred Heart, of course, and Dream Evil. All the classics, man. Lock Up the Wolves, which I think it was 89, 90 release. So yeah, in my eyes, these are the super essential albums, and I think it was his greatest era, in my opinion. Not including his time with Sabbath. And so some of the classic bands. More classic rock. We have here UFO. The complete studio albums. 1974. 1976. So this is a proper box, and like it says here, it collects 10 albums of UFO. So this is another band, as you guys know, that also included the legendary Michael Schenker. So this is before they have a proper logo and all that set up. Of course, you had Force It. Unfortunately, this is the censored cover. You know, you can probably tell what's going on there. Use your imagination. It's called Force It. No heavy petting. Again, these are their great years. Lights Out. Excellent album. I would say if you're gonna check out any UFO, I would say start with this one. Start with Lights Out. My favorite. So this one, I'll just go ahead and just show you. So real quick. So this one, Wild and Innocent, Mechanics. I'm not particularly in love with this album cover. There's just something, I don't know, it's just really strange about the way he's holding that wrench, guitar wrench. Very suggestive. That's just how they were. Making Contact. I have some of these on vinyl. I don't have them all on vinyl. But most of the early ones I do. And of course you got Misdemeanor. I've always liked that photo. Just that sort of that bratty look. So it does its best to replicate the LPs towards the back. The only problem is when you have, you know, type that was already pretty small on the LP and you try to shrink it to CD size, it gets even harder to read. So a lot of you older folks and those who rely on you know, some kind of what you call it, visual assistance, also known as glasses, will have a bit of a hard time reading some of that text on there. So it's a bit of that compromise you got to make if you're going to shrink stuff down to CD size. Very cool set. Another band that during their heyday, and you know, they did a lot for music today, and they were an inspiration for a lot of bands. Another one I got here is Death Angel, The Enigma Years. So they made an actual set, 87 through 1990, when they were signed on to that before they moved on to Geffen. So this is a U.S. thrash band based out of California, not to be confused with Dark Angel, which tends to happen a lot. So this collects 4 CDs. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them out, and comes with a nice poster. And here we go. So this has basically the CD track listings and, you know, old flyers and stuff like that. So pretty cool. So here's the actual discs, and so we have the Ultraviolence. The thing about the Ultraviolence is this is their debut album. A lot of people will say this is their best album, and very hard to come by these days. It is another one desperately needs a repress. So the cheapest way to probably get this album at the moment is maybe through something like this. You know, if you can't find the individual CD, because even the jewel case, I don't see it in a while that very much. So you might have a better chance of getting it through this direction. Plus, you get the other albums. Frolic Through the Park. A lot of people say this might be a bit of a misstep since their debut, just because their debut was so strong. I still happen to like this album. And then we have, of course, you know, Fall from Grace. You guys already see me show this in the Skulls video, the vinyl version of this, but still cool. It's a live album, and I think I explained why the logo's not there, because at the time they already moved on to Geffen, although Enigma decided to release this live album, which includes those 2 albums I just showed. And then CD4 is just called Rarities, which includes demo materials, B-side stuff, and whatnot. So I guess to kind of round it out, you know, with the 4 discs. So quite cool. I mean, the backs are all different, and it's just a nice little set to have. It doesn't break the bank, and you get all the early material. So very cool. So moving on. This right here, I actually got it very cheaply. So this was a used bookstore find, and they had this for a whopping $5. So this would be the Atlantic years Led Zeppelin set. So upon looking at this, it looks like a vinyl. So it is the size of an LP, but it's actually 4 CDs. And I thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, I'm not the hugest Zeppelin fan. I do enjoy a lot of their stuff, but it's not something I'm reaching for much these days. But I thought this was worth to pick up. It's pretty cool. So went ahead and opened it up. It comes with this booklet, and you get 4 CDs. So it's basically their volume 1, 2, 3, and 4. So a lot of their classic Arrow stuff. If you notice, the covers are all different. So it doesn't have the iconic Zeppelin and everything else. So I don't know if it's exclusive to just this set. It's kind of cool to look at. I personally, I would have preferred they just kept the original covers. But, that was the decision they went with. The booklet's pretty cool. Like, you get all the old jam pictures and whatnot. And, let me see, a lot of text and biographical information and some cool things, old archival photos. There's Mr. Page, and so here's a nice gatefold shot there of Mr. Plant and Mr. Page. I don't know if this is open up. Oh yeah, so this opens up, and you get a nice big. I don't know if I can get all this on camera, but you get a big, nice, just a bunch of studio shots of everybody there. Just a nice look into those years, those prolific years when all this stuff was happening. And yeah, so it's always nice when you include something like this in the box set. As far as the CDs and material, they kept pretty well protected, so it's not gonna float around in there, trying to pull it in and out. And all the discs are generally the same. They kind of just this bland black. Again, I don't know the decision behind why they didn't just go with the OG cover artwork, but it is what it is. So that is the Zeppelin CD set, for those of you who care about Zeppelin. I also have the this. So it almost seems like in every video I'm bringing up Hooded Menace, and I don't plan it that way. That's just how it happens to be. It fits the theme of whatever video I'm working on. Some people like to talk about the same band every video. Hey, if Simon Explosive Action can talk about Infernac in every video, I can bring up Hooded Menace. So this is the Gloom Immemorial CD set. So it's not a collection of their full lengths or anything like that. This was put up by Dumentia when they were still signed on with them. And this is a collection of basically their EPs, B-side stuff, singles, stuff under 7 inches, and whatnot. So there's a lot of miscellaneous material. However, I don't think the CD is going to be reissued again. So this just got reissued on vinyl. So you can get all this on vinyl. It's not included as a kind of a, what you call it, with all the stuff you get in here, which I'm about to show. So if you're looking for the tracks on here all in one collection, I would say just splurge for the vinyl. I don't know if it's available on the jewel case. I haven't looked, but I do know it's available on vinyl. So in here you get a bunch of little goodies, and you get the poster of the front artwork and more full coverage. So you get the whole picture there. So if you want a nice closer shot, pretty cool. Very Hooded Menacey. You get a patch, so you get a nice little official patch there. You get a pin. You also get the booklet, and you get it's just pictures and of the band. There you go. It looks a lot like what Swallow the Sun would do. They just kind of remind me a lot of them with the way they pose and everything. Another Finnish band, so I guess it just goes with the territory. Pretty cool. And you also get a It's still in the shrink here, but it's just basically a bunch of prints, postcard looking prints in the back. So of different miscellaneous artwork and material. And here's the actual CD. So, you know, did it need to be a whole set like this? No, it's just kind of a bonusy kind of thing. All the tracks fit on one disc, and they just threw a bunch of cool little items to go along with it. So you will splurge for the extra bucks for it. So here we have something pretty cool. So I got a bag, and in here contains some tapes. So yes, I do have some collected tapes. So this is put out by Corpse Crystal actually, and this is the Metal Blade years. So this is a 99 out of 100 box set of Immolation. So it's a band out of New York. I think one of the best death metal bands around. So this right here has 3 albums, which I have on vinyl, which again, this is one of those splurge buys. I thought the tape set looked pretty cool. And the first thing you're going to notice is, where the hell's Dawn of Possession, right? And that was put out by Road Racer, so that wouldn't have counted, even though that was their debut album. So it's just the Metal Year stuff. So you got Here and After. This was my introduction to the band when this came out. Just great. And then we have Failures for Gods, and of course, Close to a World Below. Another amazing release. So just, you know, have it all in the shrink for now. Another reason I haven't needed to play it, but nice cool presentation. So it does come in that black bag. There's a white version of that bag too, you know, like it matters. So I got this other tape set here, put out by Sentient Ruin. So Sentient Ruin is based out of San Francisco, I believe, and they have a cool roster of just very extreme, harsh, caustic bands in there. And here I have Fuoco Fatuo. So this is a 2-tape set that they put out. When you see that logo, you know we're talking about Sentient Ruin. So this band is, I think, under Profound Lore, and you get 2 tapes here. I'm such a dork. I still have the hype sticker in there. So we have their debut, not their debut. As a matter of fact, they have 3 full lengths. Their first full length is not on here because it was under a different label. I think it was Iron Tyrant and something like that. It was a smaller label, which is, I think, is why it's not in here. So it's just the Profound Lore stuff, which I believe Sentient Ruin licensed under. So you got Backwater. So I have these in other formats too. And we have Obsidian Calabasas, which came out last year. Excellent release. I mean, this is some really tasty Italian. Well, they're from Italy. So it's funeral, death, doom. So if you're looking for esoteric, disembowelment kind of sounding material, you know, you're gonna get your fill with this. Great band. So definitely worth checking out. So if you don't get the tape set through Sentient Ruin, definitely check out their CD or vinyl. You can get it whatever format. So I think the last of the tape sets is a band from Chile. And this is, I actually seen someone else showing this on another video. So maybe I'll be the second guy. So this is Procession, Chance of the Nameless. So this collects 4 tapes of the band. So this is Epic Doom, like I said, from Chile. And it actually has members of Capella Oriente. So this is their other band. I think it has two other members from there. And one of the members actually are in that band Niflheim, from, you know, black metal band from Sweden, which is interesting. So we have this. Here's the patch. Pretty cool. Nice little picture card. So this band, they've been together since 2006, something like that. And they put out so the Cult of Disease, the first one right here, which is listed as an EP, but it's the same runtime as a full length. So I look at it as a full length. I think at this point they do two. So, you know, you got everything listed here. Destroyers of the Faith. To Reap Heavens Apart. That one is my favorite. And their latest one, Doom Decimation. It's interesting how they have this sort of bombs and missiles looking like little spermatozoid hitting the earth. But this is a great band. This is, you know, if you like that epic doom stuff, you know, again, in the vein of Candlemass, you know, I think these guys will. I'm not gonna say give them a run for their money, but it's very strong material. And so if you like stuff in that sort of Solitude Alternus territory, these guys are pretty riffy. Got really good tone going on. Very catchy. Definitely check out Procession if you haven't. So let's move on to, I got a vinyl over here and a couple other things. Okay, over here I have Zeisma, XYSMA. So this is a band out of Finland, and I picked this up through Svart Records. Some of you may have already seen me show it on a live stream, so I will formally show it in a video. And this is a cool little set. So this band used to play sort of a grindcore, death grind kind of stuff when they first started out back in the late 80s, early 90s. And then they started incorporating more groove. And now, you know, they moved to a more sort of a garage rock type of band. So the stuff collected in this volume is stuff in that latter era. This is their early material. So which I think was a good move, because people like myself prefer the early era. I would have no interest in their new stuff. You may love the new stuff. I'm not saying it's bad, but depending on how stuff caters to your tastes, it you know, might just be better off as a separate set if they decide to go that direction. So with this booklet, you know, like kind of like the Zeppelin one, you get all kinds of cool little scans and stuff from those years, and some interviews, old photos, and you know how this goes. So pretty cool with all the stuff that's going on in that scene. So more pictures and whatnot. So if you're curious on picking this up, I say if you're into death grind and grindcore and, you know, just stuff of that caliber, and I think this is one of the bands that were doing it really well at that time period, and this is definitely worth checking out. So I would say head out to Svart Records and definitely check it out. So this came in red vinyl. So I believe they're all, yeah, they're all red. So I think they had a black version of this too. I know they had a different box color. You can also get, they had a black version of this. I happen to like the red, but if you don't like the red, you can get a black box along with this. So as far as the material here, so you get the LP1's the demos, LP2 is mini LP EPs, LP3 is their Yeah album from 1991. Excellent, excellent. LP4 is the rehearsal stuff. And then, yeah, so you get 5 LPs. And LP5 is live material from, it says here, from Turku, March 26, 1989. Wow. Must have been mind-blowing at the time. I mean, grind was already well on its way by that time. You know, Napalm and those guys were already doing their thing. So, I don't know if these guys were, I mean, I would say they were probably one of the first to do it in Finland. But really cool to see, though. And just a nice little set to have, you know, with all the early material. So let's do some movies. So actually, matter of fact, I got this TV show set. I picked this up very recently because they just released a movie on Paramount Plus. You can watch it there or wherever. So this was a, let's just say, a favorite of my childhood. But nowadays, if you try to watch something like this, you're going to lose brain cells. And no, seriously, you're going to lose brain cells. So this is Beavis and Butthead. So this is Volume 1. So there is Beavis, and there is Butthead. And it's just a way I discovered a lot of music videos was, you know, because you would have these segments with these dumbasses who would watch these music videos. And I think the Beavis and Butthead music videos, when you watch the show, today just reaction videos are real popular on YouTube, and I think these guys were sort of the proto reaction video pioneers that was done in cartoon form. So Mike Judge, who you know from King of the Hill, and he done Office Space and a bunch of other movies, Idiocracy. So this collects Mini Slim. Let me look at that. Just it's so stupid. There's another one. So you get three DVDs with some other stuff from season 1. So I like how they went with the die cut. So with both sides. So that's season 1. So season 2, it's just kind of the same treatment, but just kind of doubled up this time. Which I thought was interesting. So those of you overseas who have not heard of Beavis and Butthead, it's just something that you're going to feel guilty. Like, it's going to make you laugh. You shouldn't be laughing at it because it's just so immature. It's so fucking... I don't know. It's just... You can tell just by looking at it. Very crude. The illustrations are very crude. Everything about it says it's just wrong. It's just, why am I still laughing? Why is this so funny? It should not be. It should be illegal. How funny it is. But, you get to a certain age, you still enjoy your toilet humor. It's just there. So in that movie that just came out, Beavis and Butthead does the universe. And, I think the premise behind it is they meet their counterparts. It's like they meet the dumbest people, the dumbest versions of themselves. See, I'm losing, I don't want to tell you, I'm losing brain cells even talking about this. So the smartest planet or smarter variants of themselves, but the dumbest versions of those in which they meet, and they enter a lot of calamity happens, let's just say. People get killed. So next up, and this is a cool one. We had the Batman come out, and I don't know, I wasn't too much of a fan of it, but this right here, the Dark Knight Trilogy, collects all the Christopher Nolan stuff. Begins Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, so all 3 movies from that era. This is my favorite Batman, I guess what you call franchise here. I love the Tim Burton stuff too, but I feel like there should have been a 3rd Tim Burton one, which never happened. Said they went the Val Kilmer nipple route, and then Clooney. There's a few missteps, but they eventually moved on to this. I like how this is a 3-way. It's just all 3, 3-way. See, there you go. You see lenticular right there. See all 3 versions of the cover. Pretty cool how they went with that direction. This is a proper box set actually. So it's nice and thick, and holy shit, man, they did this justice. A really, really nice set. And you get all 3 DVDs here. Very, very nice job just putting all this together. And you get this little booklet with all the villains here. Very, very nice. There's the front. Mr. Christian Bale, Batman himself. I like to call him the death metal Batman because when he talks like this, So yeah, so it's just stills from the movie, various miscellaneous set production shots and blah blah blah. And here's some sketches and drawings from stuff. Overall, it's very nice stuff on location. And some city shots and whatnot. All very cool. I think the last of the TV stuff here I'll show is this one right here. So this is a very popular show right now. So they're on the 4th season, premiered on Netflix back in 2016. We're very excited at the time, when they announced this. Winona Ryder, those guys on board, and it was supposed to be this sort of crossover of Stephen King-esque type of aesthetic going on, and so we have Stranger Things. So this is season 1, and this is done in this cool sort of VHS style. So I found it perplexing. So this is a very curious pickup because it's something that came out in the digital era. We're on Netflix, but being that this is sort of a premise in the 80s, I think the VHS thing still fit pretty well, despite the fact that the generation looking into something like this probably wouldn't have VCRs, or you use physical media to begin with, if you are a Gen Z, getting into this. But if you're like my age, yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia in this, man. It's a really, really well written show. So let me go ahead and take this out. So if you take this out, it's got this nice sort of big, VHS thing happening here. Look at that. So that opens up. It's one of those magnetized sort of cases, and then you get the season actually comes on 2 Blu-rays right here. So 1 and 2. So you get all the episodes there. I guess this is supposed to be like a locker. I never actually took this out at any point. So I'm about to find out just as much as you guys what is in here. So that's pretty cool. And we have, this must be the monster. Yeah, so it says Stranger Things. Really, really cool. Look how sloppy that is, man. Quite awesome. Yeah, so very, very good attention to detail. Love the presentation. Everything here is done very excellently. That's definitely worth the pickup if you're a fan of the show. If you're just a collector of stupid random things, it just looks good on your shelf. Screw it, right not? I think out of all this, yeah, you know what? Let's just save the best for last. So let's move on to the last thing. Okay, for the last thing, so this is a band out of Sweden, and these are one of the pioneers of what you call Viking themed death metal. And this is yeah, you guessed it, Unleashed. So this is their 30th anniversary box set, and this is from the says here the Century Media years. So I would say it's basically all their 90s material. I think they were still on their Century Media in the early 2000s and whatnot. So this has 7 other albums. So we have Where No Life Dwells, Shadows in the Deep, Across the Open Sea, Victory, yeah, Warrior, Hell's Unleashed, Sworn Allegiance. Oh no, that one goes up to 2004. So, okay, so yeah. So let me go ahead and pull out the sleeves. I mean, most of you know what the covers look like anyway, but this came in several color variations. So you had yellow and whatnot. I went with black. This one, which I think was the most affordable option at the time, which again, for something like this, the color didn't matter, which is cool to get all 7 albums, because at the time I didn't have any of this on vinyl. I have some of these CDs, but to get all 7 sets at once at the price they were asking for was great. So none of these are gatefolds or anything like that, so it's just these sort of thin sleeves. This is their first album, Where No Life Dwells. Just great stuff. So that's number 1. Number 2, Shadows in the Deep, also just as good. If I would probably go with the debut if I had to pick one out of this very early era. So then here we have Across the Open Sea. Here's where the Viking stuff becomes very apparent with the decoration and everything else going on here. Quite cool. So then we have number 4. Again, there's more of that Viking stuff. Very apparent here with Victory. So I'm glad they didn't really change the logo. I know Enslaved, they're the Norwegian, I guess, what you call black metal kind of part of the Viking stuff. They had their upside down cross in the original logo, and then later this, they changed it. Which I guess for them it was more of an appropriate move, I suppose. We have Warrior. So kind of kept that font going. Hey man, I care about stuff like that. Hell's Unleashed. Look at that. We also have, which I think is the last one, and this is Sworn Allegiance. Quite cool. And we get a booklet along with this box. Really nice box, also nice and hefty. I don't feel like it's going to fall apart on me or crease too easily. I've seen some sets that were quite flimsy. So Century Media, you know, I don't say a lot of positive things about Century Media nowadays, but you know, I think they did a really good job with this presentation. Really good band on their roster. It's got some pretty cool illustrations. Just an explanation of the albums. Like the way a proper box set should. If you're looking to get the collection and get filled in on the material, you're looking to crash course on Unleashed. There you go. So early pictures of the band. Here they're quite young. Really, really cool. Sorry about all the glare. Some early shots of them in their heyday here. So don't want to keep you guys too long, but you know, so you know what album you're on. They got pictures of the front and so forth. So, like I was saying, so really good job. You could spend a long time. This has lyrics and more scribbles. Really cool looking scribbles. I'm a sucker for a lot of that ballpoint stuff. If you do it well. So yeah. So this is the last item. John, congratulations on 250. I know this has been a bit of a long one, but I'm a long-winded kind of guy, and I hope you guys stuck around for most of this. And dude, so are we going to see a 500 subs contest? Shouldn't be too long from now, right? So really cool, all of you who entered. Love watching all your box set videos and see what you all got. And I didn't try to cross over what a lot of you guys already shown. That maybe I show one or two somebody has shown, but whatever. You know, it's all in good fun. So keep it dreadful, and let's see who wins.